Hey guys, I'm Amanda Kossina of Kossina Creative Photography, and I'm going to show you a few ways you can swaddle a baby. Okay, so here is my little model, and so I'll be swaddling him a couple different ways, and I want to show you a couple options that you can either order or options you should have at home too. So there are a couple different swaddles you can use. This is probably the most popular kind of swaddle that almost every new parent has. This is a muslin blanket. So I'll show you a few techniques with that. Or I actually had this for when my son was born, but a lot of people for your hospital or Fresh 48 pictures will get matching or special stretchy little blankets that are keepsake blankets or has something special on it. So my son, we knew we were gonna have everything superhero, so we have a Batman blanket. So this is made out of a very stretchy jersey material, and so a lot of the pattern fabrics that you can use have this stretchy material, and this is actually my favorite to swaddle with for at-home use. And then for pictures too, I have a bunch of different types of stretchy fabrics that I can use for different types of swaddles that I do for photo shoots. And so for those, usually I buy those from specialty vendors for newborn props. This one though is actually just like a scarf. So I wanted to show you guys options that you can use at home, so that way for any new parents that are at home that may want to get a few pictures of their baby, or even at the hospital, these are some options you can use so you can swaddle your baby yourself, and that way if you do want to take a couple of your own photos as well too. So the first option I'll show you is the muslin blanket swaddle. So for this, what you can do, usually it's a big square. So what you can do is make this into like a triangle, and then either on your lap or on a bed or some kind of solid surface, you can have baby laying there. So for this one, for this type of swaddle, I'll show you how to wrap the baby on a surface. So he is currently on a little boppy pillow, which this is the kind of pillow that has everything kind of enclosed. I like these for newborns and for babies that are only a few, I don't want to squish my doll, but these are like for babies to just lay on. So this is, it's made by Boppy, but you can get any kind of little like circular or any kind of like soft surface to lay their baby on. So even a changing pad would be fine, or a bed or anything like that. I like this because it's at a slant, so that way baby's head is a little bit higher than their body. So anyways, you can hold your baby, put the blanket swaddle down right here, and so it's in a triangle. So I have the tip of the triangle facing me and then two corners to the side. So you lay your baby down so that way the top of the blanket is right above their shoulders. And then I keep baby's arms by their sides, and then I'll cross their legs so that way they're like this. So when babies are in the womb, they're usually like that. And if baby's really wiggly or really, you know, kind of fighting it a little bit, I do a little jiggle on their butt like this, just to kind of keep them nice and comfortable and soothed. Okay, so wrapping them with their arms next to their sides helps keeping them from also escaping or going out. So what you'll do is you'll grab one side of this blanket and kind of wrap it diagonal across their body, and then you tuck it under their butt like this. Okay, so you do one side first, and then you kind of pull it a little tight, not too tight, but enough to keep it a little snug. And then you can kind of keep doing a little bit of a wiggle too if your baby's starting to get a little restless too. So this is even good too if your baby's really fussy or tired but fighting sleep. This is a good way to get them nice and relaxed. So as you're wiggling, you'll grab the other side, and then you go like this to bring over this other side right here. So that way, and since their arms are on their sides, it helps prevent them from their arms sneaking out over the top. If they're like this, it's very easy for a baby's hand to get out, and then they can break free and be like little Houdinis. So I do this to keep them really cozy, but also preventing them to get out. Okay, and then for this, when you lift up your baby, you can kind of grab this end and you could tuck it into the back like that. Okay, so that is a simple muslin swaddle, and anybody who has these kind of blankets at home, that's a good way you could swaddle your baby. Okay, now here is the second type of swaddle. So this is with a stretchy jersey knit fabric. So like I said, a lot of the blankets that people get as gifts or want to use for Fresh 48 sessions or hospital sessions, this is kind of the typical fabric you would get. So I like this the best because it's really nice and stretchy, so you can get a really nice tight swaddle with your baby with this one. So what I'll do with this, instead of like the muslin blanket, what I'm gonna do with this is I'll keep it nice and square instead of making it into a triangle. So you'll pick up your baby, and then you will lay the blanket down. That way it's nice and flat. So it's still a big square, and also to keep an eye on your pattern if you want to keep it cute and see the pattern still. So you'll keep the blanket flat, then you'll lay your baby down. When you lay your baby down, you will keep the blanket a little bit above their shoulders, because that way you can wrap it over. So keep the arms side by side, and then you'll crisscross the legs. Again, if your baby gets restless while you're doing this, you can kind of use your pinkies to hold their hands down and then just kind of give their legs and lower half of their body a little wiggle. This will help soothe them. So then what you're going to do is you'll take your blanket and you're going to stretch it really tight like this, and then pull it over, okay? And then wrap it under. Every time you go to wrap, you're going to kind of keep the fabric pulled tight, because that way you can get a nice and tight swaddle. Okay, so you just keep pulling like this. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the edge of the blanket, the corner of it, under their butt, and then you kind of pull the fabric like this just to make it nice and tight, so that way it's nice and tight here. And then you're going to take the other corner with the hand down and pull it and stretch, and then over. Okay, be careful not to pull too tight because you don't want to restrict your baby's airway. But I also like doing this as a crisscross because that way I leave some space right here by their neck. So I'm pulling this over just like that. And then for this, what you can do with this excess, if it's really long like this, you'll kind of fold it a little bit and then stretch it over on one side and then stretch it over on the other. And then you've got your baby nice and swaddled. So then what you're going to do is you would tuck the rest of this back here in the back, and then there you go. Got your baby nice and swaddled. Okay, the third type of swaddle style is the kind that I use the most for newborn photography. So this can be done with either a newborn wrap prop that you can purchase from a newborn wrap vendor, or it could just be a very stretchy scarf. So this one's actually just a stretchy scarf. So with this, I wrap a lot differently than I do with the other two types of wraps. And I love doing this one while sitting on the floor because I like to use my legs as my table. And so what I do with this is I'll put my legs out forward, and then I put the wrap on my lap, and that way I have a lot of the tail on one side and then just a little bit on this side. So that way the baby's gonna go right here on my lap, okay? So then what I'll do is I'll grab the baby and put baby on my lap with their butt closest to my belly and their feet up, okay? And then a lot of times too, if a baby's really fussy or a baby's awake, I kind of do a little bit of a jiggle with my legs like this just to keep them rocking. So if you need a workout, this is a good core workout too. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you can either keep your baby's hands by their side, or you can even have them up high too. So a lot of times with this one, I will keep their hands up high. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll keep their hands up high up here, and then I'll kind of hold it in like this for a second. So what I'll do is you grab the side of your wrap. So what I kind of like to do is hold one piece and then kind of scoop up, so that way it's all equally tight in my hand. And then I pull and then go across. So just like the other wraps, you pull and go across tuck under the butt, and then as you're tucking, you're gonna pull the other side of it tight, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is scoop it again. So I'm gonna grab one piece right here, scoop like this, so that way the wrap is grabbed equally in my hand, and go across like this. And then you'll pull this across, and then this is gonna go, you'll pretzel the baby's legs, and then you go underneath like so. And when you do that, you've got a little tail over here, okay? And then once I get right here and I have their body mostly wrapped, you can even start to pull their hands out a little bit. So this can happen at any point too, but I kind of like to do this before I get the rest of the wrap going. So I'll keep their hands right here, and if baby's still awake, you can keep rocking them as you do this. So then now what you're gonna do is continue your wrap. So you'll pull right here and kind of go a little bit over their shoulder now, okay? Always support your baby's head while you do this. And then you can go through here. You'll pull the wrap so it's straight. And then keep that under their hands. And then you're gonna keep wrapping until you run out of fabric. So you just keep repeating the same steps over and over again until your fabric runs out. And then what I do is I usually will just kind of like tuck this under, so that way when you hold your baby, you just kind of hold on to that little piece right there. So this is how I do my typical newborn photo wrap, or you could do this with a scarf at home. So those are the 3 different types of wraps or swaddles that you can do with your newborn at home. So I hope this video helped. For more videos and tips on how to either photograph your baby or tips on just photography in general, please follow my page.